So I'd like to welcome everybody to the Worldviews International Conference on Media and Higher Education. This is really the first initiative to bring together people from various communities, from the media, social media, the mainstream media, the diversity of media, as well as those in higher education in its various communities. Bringing together of these various people will lead to new insights and new ways of communicating with one another.
Well, first of all, I think it's really wrong and a mistake to think there is one way. I think, you have to have a multiple approach, so you've got to be, actually quite dynamic in your model, and you need to respond to different situations.
There's going to be a shift in higher education and how they interact with the media. I think it'll be less centralized. I think the open source model is definitely where we're going. So I think that'll be good because it breaks down some of the hierarchies that exist within academia and within the media.
Social media is pushing us to communicate with more outreach, more grassroots, much wider audiences. So I think the future is going to be about how to sort of save the good while throwing ourselves into the deep of new technologies.
You still see large numbers of people reading the bulk of the mainstream media, the large mainstream media publications. We're not trying to bypass the media, but we're just trying to create new ways and new opportunities and exploit the opportunities that are available with social media to reach people.
I think that it's good for academics and universities to partner with mainstream media and to work together, because the whole point is to try and get the people informed and encourage public discourse.
At the end of the day, I was left wondering, where are we going to get the content in the future that is credible, that is expert-based, that people are actually going to feel is reliable, that they can trust. And the key thing we have to do is to find a way to harness those smart minds and smart people to the mainstream debates that are going on.
The goal was to bring together academics and journalists working in the higher education field, and also people working in universities in communication departments, and bringing them all together and seeing whether they could start an interesting conversation about the relationship between these two.
Through this conference, I've had more blog hits and more retweets and more interaction on Twitter than ever before, so it's fantastic.
Oh, I think the conference has been invaluable, particularly in terms of the cross-fertilization of ideas. I think that's really a critical aspect to it. So you get people from different disciplines, different geographic areas coming together and swapping ideas.
Well, I think the real value for both press officers and researchers at the university level, and also for journalists, is it's an opportunity almost to build empathy with these people you're trying to work with. And to talk to people about what's it like to be a journalist day to day, and what do you need from me as a researcher or as a press officer trying to get my message out? What are the stories you're interested in covering, and how do you want to cover them? And on the flip side, for journalists, it's an opportunity to kind of look at what's priority for academics, the direction that higher education is going in, and what that means for media content. Building
Relationships with journalists and reporters, and about the difficulties, many of which we're exploring here. So having a big forum and with lots of international input, it seems to me, reinforces the importance. There's a kind of urgency about this, because we talk a lot about what we can't do, and so one hopes that through a much bigger, deeper conversation we'll come up with some ideas about how to get over those problems.
Great to go to a panel, hear what people are saying, then go check out their blogs, check out their tweets, and kind of have a bigger picture of what's going on between media and academia.
I want to thank all those that made the Worldview Conference on Media and Higher Education a success. I want to thank our sponsors, I want to thank all the speakers, I want to thank the volunteers, and of course I want to thank those that came to the conference and engaged in the discussion that made the conference the success that I think it was.